Hello, I'm Lucy Kane and I'm back here on You Heard It Here First with an incredible band today. I'm going to fill you in on the backstory here. Back when we first started the station, I was brand new to presenting and interviewing, so I was very, very selective about who I'd asked to interview because I was nervous to talk to these people that I thought were amazing. So I did a few episodes where I would find a new artist and I would talk about them, do my research, find all about their journey, and then play their songs. Well, on one of those very early episodes, I featured a band called The New Twenties, and I played their song Inside Out. Now, months down the line, a couple of weeks ago, I got a follow on Instagram, and it was from one of the band members, Harry. And here we are today. It is a very proud moment getting to finally do an interview with them. The trio of The New Twenties is made up of Chris Bourne and brothers Jimmy and Harry Morris. Their festival-worthy sound is beyond infectious, and their real talk, honest lyrics get you on side immediately. I am chatting to Jimmy from The New Twenties after we hear their song, Don't Be So Lonely.
She said boldly, don't be so lonely, just come round and hold me now. Come and hold me down. Oh, just hold me. Why be alone tonight? You don't deserve it, no. Just come and do what feels right for me now. Why be alone tonight when you could be here now? Don't think about it, just come on over. First, tell me something about yourself to put my mind at rest. We never met, you know. Now you want only to hold my body closely, but we never met, you know. We never met. Why be alone tonight? You don't deserve it, no. Just come and do what feels right for me now. Why be alone tonight when you could be here now? Don't think about it, just come on over. She said, it may seem strange, but I feel like I know you. You are the wall I wanna pin all of my hopes to. I share a post for the one that I like the most, and I hope you see it like I saw your toast. You know, the one you made at your friend's birthday. Where were you? That looked like fun. You're wearing a top from the shop at a work at. I've got that one. I always thought looked good on my boyfriend if I had one, but I don't, so why be alone tonight? You don't deserve it, no. Just come and do what feels right for me now. Why be alone tonight when you could be here now? Don't think about it, just come on over.
Hey, Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on today. How are you?
Yeah, all good. A little bit ill, so if I sound a little nasally, it's because of that.
Oh,
But, yeah,
I'm
thanks a
ill
lot for
as
having us.
well. We've all got the super cold.
Oh, what? Yeah, it's not the one.
Not the one. Oh, well, you sound absolutely fine. I am a huge fan of The New Twenties. I think you guys are absolutely amazing. And I want to go right back to the beginning. I want to know how it all started for you together.
Well, so basically, we were all, me and my brother were in another band at the time, and we were always going to gigs, playing gigs ourselves, being at gigs. And when we met Chris, it was through one of these gigs that we were at. I can't remember if we were playing it or he came down to see our old band, I think, at one point. But then he was doing merchandise for acts around London, and we met him by that as well. So we ran into him a couple of times just through being in the same sort of scene. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm a songwriter as well. I don't just sell merch." And we're like, "Oh, no way, sick." And then he invited us to his place in Essex to do some songwriting. And we had no idea what we were writing for. We just thought it's good to broaden your horizons and write with different people.
Yeah.
And we did that, and we really got on really well. We had lots of chats, and the song we wrote was cool. And we just had a lot of fun doing it. And then we had a friend's wedding in Cornwall, or in Devon, sorry, in Devon. And me and Harry were going to that. And then he said, "Do you want to come and do some writing in Cornwall at my brother's house?" And we were
Just
already
the
in Devon.
persistence. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, we had such a good time. Like we were in touch. Obviously, we would have wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And because we were already in Devon, we went, like, just for context, we're like from like Staines, so
Yeah,
you know,
it's
we're tying it
far.
in
Yeah.
on the route. Yeah. So we went down to Cornwall and ended up staying for like 4 or 6 weeks. And we
Oh
wrote
my God, a really long time. I thought you were going to say 4 or 6 days.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. Like we just ended up writing. We didn't even know why we were writing at this point. You know, we were just doing it for fun. But then we had all these songs, and then we did several other trips like that all lasted 4 to 6 weeks. And we just were collecting loads of songs that were just all brand new, all just came out of the three of us, all writing equally, producing it all ourselves, just on a really small, modest setup. And then at a certain point, we all looked at each other and were like, we've got a lot of songs now, and I don't know where this is coming from. Like, we should probably be a band. It's probably a bit of a different thing. And it's just something none of us have ever really felt before.
Yeah.
In the same way, where like everyone's on the same page about writing songs and stuff. So yeah, to have 3 writers in the band and just all get on so well creatively was just so unlike anything we had ever experienced, and we knew it was special.
It's so rare to find 2 other people that fit so well with what you want.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you found that. How do you come up with a band name? How does that come around?
Well, we have these epic long conversations when we are in Cornwall, because there was really bad internet. I think we had no internet for the first 2 trips.
Wow.
So for like 4 or 6 weeks, it was either really shaky internet or basically no internet.
Forced to go back to conversation.
Yeah, which was amazing. That's probably one of the reasons we, fully got to know each other so well.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, we were just having crazy conversations about anything and everything. And at one point we were talking about how it's strange that the 1920s, like that these 20s will one day just be referred to as the 20s, like the 1920s was. And then we just found it interesting how no one ever talks about the 10s. And it's like every century kind of takes 20 years to warm up.
I love it.
Yeah, so we were just talking about that. And I was like, one day this will be the new 20s. And then we all looked at each other and were like, oh, that's got something to it.
A light bulb moment.
And then obviously with everyone in the band, like this wasn't the reason, that was the actual how it came up. But then we started like reading meanings into it about how we were all in our 20s. And we also thought this decade will be remembered more so than any other decade as the time where music was DIY, where everyone, well, not everyone, but the price of recording equipment has come down now during this decade to such a point where if you have a laptop or a computer and save up for it, almost anyone can have access to be able to something that in the Western world that can record music.
Yeah.
And we just thought that that's inevitably going to bring its own style along with it.
That's amazing.
Which might be remembered one day.
No, it absolutely will. And that's so true. And I mean, you guys wrote, record, produced, you did the entire EP, just the 3 of you. How is it doing it all yourself? Do you think that's a good thing? Or do you think you end up tweaking for so long that you don't end up releasing? Like, how is it just doing it all yourself?
Well, we've had friends in bands who have do that thing where they write loads of songs and then end up getting tired of their songs and never end up releasing them.
Yeah.
But for me, I've never really had that problem. I've always wanted to release everything, like once it sounds right, just because it's like you wouldn't want to pick a favorite child, like it's that same thing. It's just like, well, it came out of us, like someone might like it. Not every song has to be everyone's favorite. Like there can be different, songs.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. So like, you never know what's going to resonate with someone, I think. But producing it ourselves, I mean, it's challenging because, none of us have, specifically studied it. Yeah. But it's also the way to get the most authentic feeling, sounding thing to you, Mm-hmm. There's a lot of value in that, I think. Like, and just being able to have the freedom of what songs you work on or don't work on. Like, no one's telling us, because we're completely independent and stuff, no one's saying, oh, you really need a song that sounds like, Sam Fender or Sondara Kama or something. No one's like pressuring us to go a certain way. We can literally work on whatever sounds we want, and because of that, we've managed to experiment a lot.
And I mean, it's amazing. Like, your EP is so good, and that's one of the amazing things about being completely independent. Like you say, you've got no one telling you what to do. And have you found that that's been a really, really good thing for the band, just being you guys?
Yeah, I think we could benefit from like a third party voice telling us, what we need to just telling us what deadlines and schedules we need to stick to, so it's not like all of us enforcing it amongst ourselves, because obviously that is just, never works, because our whole thing is like, there isn't like a leader, like there's three people that are all equal, but having someone that just knows when to put the foot down and say, oh, everyone's doing this today.
Just to coordinate it a little bit.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think we're doing all right so far by ourselves.
Absolutely. I mean, your EP Inside Out came out just a few weeks ago, and it's so good. What was the reaction like? How has it been, like, putting the full EP out?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been really, really good, because they all feel like they sit together. We wrote all these songs.
Yeah.
They kind of like captured a moment in time where everything was fresh and new and exciting for us. And we were, recording everything ourselves in Cornwall, having long walks right along the beach and stuff, and just having the time of our lives, really.
That sounds amazing.
Like it's quite a happy sound. A lot of people saying like it lifts them up rather than like being like a reflective, moody piece of work and stuff. And I think that's what we wanted to get across with this batch of songs.
Well, you absolutely have. They are really uplifting, and they make it feels like summer when you're listening to them. That's how I would explain it. It feels like a summer walk along the beach. That's how I'd describe the sound.
Well, and then when COVID hit, obviously, we were like, this is probably what people are going to like look for, like something that's a bit positive.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for delivering that, because we all needed it.
Well, we're just trying.
No, and you spent the summer opening for some amazing acts. I mean, McFly, Scouting for Girls, Primal Scream, just to name a few. What is it like opening for such huge bands?
Well, it was amazing. Like, we had such a good time. It was such a good experience and stuff. But it was also a little nerve-wracking. I mean, yeah, because because the world had been shut down for 2 years and no live gigs had been happening and everything. We were like thrust into, pretty big stages, which we were so grateful for, obviously. But at the same time, it would have been nice to do a load of smaller, intimate shows as warm-ups before the big festivals, because we were playing main stage at some of those festivals, early on the set.
Right in at the deep end.
Yeah, it was just like a really big stage that we weren't that used to and hadn't played for a couple of years. But we all rose to the challenge, and it was amazing. But there was one gig where two festivals were back to back on 2 different days.
Yeah.
One was actually in Cornwall, which was amazing, playing the festival where we had written all the songs.
Oh, that must have been amazing.
But then the next day we were in Essex. So that night we had to drive 6 hours.
Oh my God.
And we finished in Cornwall at like 10 p.m, drove all through the night, and got into Essex at 5 a.m, and then had to be ready for sound check, and just being loaded in for 10 a.m.
Oh no.
The next day. That was brutal.
I mean, that is the life that you signed up for.
I know.
I bet you felt a proper rock star moment though, like getting up absolutely knackered.
Yeah, I fell asleep all that night in the footwell of the van whilst we were going along. My head was like swinging around.
Oh no. Who was driving?
Harry.
Oh my gosh, I bet both of you fast asleep and he's like, can we stop? It's always hard being a driver, because you don't know whether to be the nice person to be like, no, you sleep, or stay awake and keep me company.
Yeah. Well,
you didn't keep him company.
Well. No.
So what is the dream for you guys? Is there like a venue you want to play, an award you want to win, or is it smaller? Like, what is the kind of end goal for the New 20s?
I mean, we want to be a big band one day, but for me, it sounds like a lie, but it sounds like something that's just good to say. But for me, I think I just want to be happy with the songs we're making in the studio.
That's so important. That is so important.
Yeah, I just, as long as I'm feeling like we're pushing ourselves, like we don't want to just do one type of genre of song every time. We don't want to sound like we've done the same song over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So as long as we're switching it up and keeping things fresh and exciting for ourselves and letting all our influences come through the music in a varied way, like that'll be success for me. But obviously we also would like some money. So if anyone out there wants to send us some money, then we won't turn that down.
I love that. It's true, because there are, of course, like there's all these big dreams. You want to play these massive stadiums. You want to go on huge tours and be this huge band. But actually at the core of it all, you want to be happy with the product that you're putting out there. And the fact that you are on your own, I think is a good thing, because you will always be happy with it, because you won't put it out unless you are. So I think in one way, being independent is really helpful for that.
Well, no, actually, I've just changed my mind. I think it's just money, actually.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So scrap all of that. Someone send them some money, okay? If you could give one piece of advice to a new artist or a band that you've learned on your journey so far, what would that be?
I don't feel like we're at the point to give advice.
Well, you've played festivals, you've just released your EP, you're doing well. What, in your opinion, is something that you've learned so far?
Make good friends with someone that's willing to drive everywhere. But we haven't done that ourselves, but it would help.
Actually, I don't drink, so I'm always designated driver. So maybe I could come along and be the little roadie.
You're so welcome. That'd be amazing. Well, no, the actual honest piece of advice I would say, because this is something that we went into, like when we started writing together and knew we were going to actually release this as a band and stuff, and they weren't just songs. We basically stored up a load of songs before we even started releasing anything. Mm-hmm. And I think that is so helpful, because otherwise, if you don't do it like that, you're kind of always playing, what's it called when you're chasing your tail?
Yeah, you're sort of playing catch up the whole time. You're constantly...
Yeah, and there's so many things to juggle, like if you're trying to plan photo shoots and music videos and and then sending out all the press packages and stuff. If you're doing it all yourself, there's a lot of things to juggle, and just having the creative side, like the music, which is the most important part, having as clear as possible a vision of what's coming out and when. That really does just streamline the process.
And that's really helpful, because a lot of new artists don't know that. They'll just write a song and go, oh yeah, I'm going to put this straight out, and then they've got nothing to back it up with, and then they've got not the next thing, and then they're chasing their tail literally to write and get the next sound. And
my friend actually, my friend Elliot said to me, promise me that you release every 6 weeks and no less. Like he basically realized the way the internet was, obviously, like I think lots of us did really, but it was his discipline that basically forced that on me, where the burn rate is so high now. People want content constantly,
yeah,
and people don't really like, if you release 1 or 2 songs, have you really given anyone enough for them to sink their teeth into, to really start becoming eager to constantly hear what you're... I think regular releases is a way of keeping the momentum building.
Absolutely.
And I'm grateful that he made us take an oath to be consistent with our release strategy.
Well, it's obviously working for you. Where can people find your music, and where can they find you guys?
So on Instagram, it's @new20s, and 20s is spelled YS instead of IES. Mm-hmm. We deliberately spelled it wrong because it just looked better.
Yeah, it does look better.
But it has worked against us slightly on Apple Music, I think. But
oh no!
Still, it just looks better. One day people will get it. And everywhere else it's @the_new20s. And it's always with a YS instead of IES.
I love it. And what's coming up for you guys? What have you got coming up next? More releases?
So we're really excited. We're doing our own headline show on November the 18th in Leicester Square. And we've got this venue super central, Leicester Square, so there's no excuses for people not to be able to make it. And it should be a super fun night. We've got some friends supporting us. This girl who's super talented called Via, another girl called Sarah, and there might be some more acts on as well. It's going to be our first London show, our first headline show as well, and we're just itching to do it because we're all from London, but up until now we haven't really played it. And the other cool thing is that our first song, Inside Out, was released on November 19th, 2020. So this will be a year to the day, November 18th. So basically, it's a way of commemorating the end of the year, which we thought was nice.
That's so cool. So November 18th in Leicester Square, your first headline show. That is so exciting. I bet you can't wait.
Yeah, you're going to be there?
Do you know, I actually will come. I actually will go. I'm off to do a show over Christmas up in Whitley Bay, but I don't go till the 20th. So I can get one more gig in on the 18th.
Yeah.
Well, I will be there. I hope you will all be there. Go and stream, download, share and support the New 20s. It has been a pleasure to talk to you today, Jimmy. Thank you for coming on. We've got one more song to hear from you. Would you like to introduce it for us?
Well, this song is called Wasp, and it's by us, which is the New 20s. Enjoy.
You know we on fire. 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 I can't believe it. I must be dreaming. I thought of stealing someone else's watch. She looked at me, then at the ceiling. I spent all the evening feeling like a wasp. The only thing I know, I gotta keep you close and stay by your side. The only thing I know, I gotta keep you close and stay by your side. Now you're in the right circles, crying for a corner. I told her I can talk to turtles just to test the water. I'm feeling trapped, won't you take me out myself? I spent all the evening feeling like a wasp. The only thing I know, I gotta keep you close and stay by your side. The only thing I know, I gotta keep you close and stay by your side. Stop trying ahead of time, it's gonna be alright. Hey, darling, hey. Stop trying ahead of time, it's gonna be alright. Hey, darling, hey. It's been a long day, it's been a hard year, though we made it, can't quite believe it. It's been a long day, it's been a hard year, though we made it, you don't believe it. Oh, you